Welcome to Autolane Trends, where we talk about all things automotive. In this video, we will talk about the most legendary tuner engines in the car world. Nissan RB26 DET. Let's start with a JDM tuning staple, the Nissan RB26 DET. This 2.6 litre straight six cream of an engine was originally developed by Nissan as a race engine. The RB engine series was produced from 1984 to 2002. The RB engine has been resurrected by Nissan again, starting production in 2020 because it was such a good engine. It was used to power the legendary in their own right Nissan Skyline GTR. The R32 and the R33, also known by the affectionate name Godzilla. In its final iteration, it produced around 240 horsepower stock. Yet, 500 horsepower is easily attainable off its stock internals by way of a simple turbo upgrade. But if you really want to go crazy, you can get well over 1000 horsepower with the stoke block from the RB30, larger turbos and an ECU tune, creating the ultimate Godzilla flamethrower. The beauty about this engine is that all of this can be done while maintaining a reasonable reliability, thanks to a sturdy iron block and tuning power potential that will make V8s wail with envy. The Honda F20C and F22C. The Honda F20C and F22C is a longitudinally mounted, naturally aspirated 4-cylinder engine that was produced from 2000 to 2009 to power the Honda S2000. The engine is based on the mid-90s Honda Prelude engine and is also utilized lessons from Honda's racing experience. It was originally a 2-litre engine producing 240 horsepower, which had a record for the highest specific output for a naturally aspirated production car, a record that the F20C held for 10 years until the release of the Ferrari 458. The F20C was a high-revving engine, redlining at 8,900 revs per minute. Then the F22C, with a lower redline of 8,200 revs per minute, was produced from 2004 onwards. If you want more power from this unit, 800 horsepower is easily achievable using a turbocharger. In full race spec and forged internals, more than 1000 horsepower is achievable. The F20C and F22C are known as reliable units. They are both made from aluminium blocks, so the higher the tuned power output, the more likely something may go wrong with them. But they are truly ripe for some force-fed power numbers. Nissan SR20 DET. The Nissan SR20 DET is a turbo variant coming from the SR series of engines. It was produced from 1989 to 2000. The SR20 DET powered a multitude of vehicles, some of which were drift queens like the Silvia S14 and S15 and the 240 SX, the Nissan Pulsar GTR, just to name a few. The turbocharged 4-banger produced 240 horsepower in its top spec, but with a bit of work on the turbo, it is known to produce 400 horsepower on stock internals. If you want to produce 700 horsepower or more, you need a high flow head. If one doesn't go too crazy with the tuning, it is also known for being reliable. Honda K20. The Honda K20 is an affordable engine boasting heaps of reliability, but comes from factory with a high state of tune without resorting to being force-fed via a supercharged or turbocharger. This engine was produced from 2001 to 2011 and has powered many cars from the mundane Honda CR-V to the Honda Accord. Lastly, the Civic Type R spec shows that this is a prime example of a highly tunable engine. Stock, the engine has been known to produce up to 220 horsepower, but if you put your time in and call upon the turbocharging gods, these motors can produce more than 900 horsepower. This will be assured to put a smile on your face and put most supercars and muscle cars to shame at the red light. Overall, these engines, after a reasonable power tune, will still be as reliable as a stock motor. Mitsubishi 4G63T. The 4G63T series of engines was produced from the years 1992 to 2007 and has a long and accolade-full history in rally racing. It was used in thoroughbred Mitsubishi rally cars ranging from Lancer Evo 1 to 9 and the Galant of VR4 and Eclipse. In its years of production, it was produced in many variants from the carbureted, direct injected and single head overcam and double head overcam. It all culminated to a stock form engine that produced 287 horsepower in its most powerful iteration. There are many states of tune achievable with the 4G63T. On stock internals with a simple tune and turbo upgrade, it can push up to 400 horsepower, but if you delve deeper into the skunkworks of aftermarket parts, you could be knocking on more than 1000 horsepower drag fuel, putting supercar owners to shame. With a reasonable power tune, you can expect to maintain near stock reliability, but all these power figures come at a cost of fuel consumption. Honda B Series. The Honda B Series 1.6 and 1.8 liter is one of the smaller power units on this list. However, it is a staple for people as their first tuning car. It was produced for the mass market to consume from 1988 to 2001. It powered units like the Honda Integra and Civic. In stock form, it produced 198 horsepower, but this little unit has a multitude of aftermarket parts available, supporting it to being a truly high-powered engine. On stock internals, 500 horsepower is achievable with a simple bolt-on turbo kit and a tune, but if one really wants to go wild with forged internal swaps, one can achieve over 800 horsepower. Being a Honda engine, one can expect good reliability with this engine. Mazda Rotary 13B REW. In another JDM feature on our list, 13B REW was produced from 1992 to 2002. This is the smallest engine in terms of displacement at 1.3 liters. It truly has the most unique engine to be mass produced, as it does away with cylinders for a single rotor with 3 faces in a circular block that rotates with each combustion. This engine powered the RX-7 and is a joy to listen to, as it is a high revving engine known to rev to 10,000 RPM. In stock form, it produced 261 horsepower, but it'll be hard to find a stock one on the market that has not been tuned all the way to wazoo. To get more power out of this sweet screamer of an engine, you need a bolt-on turbo kit and a good ECU tune. This could easily get you on the doorstep of 700 horsepower, but with a lot more work, it could be drag strip ready with more than 1000 horsepower. The downside of this engine is that it is notoriously unreliable and has a very high oil consumption. The Alice Series. The Alice series is a product of the all-American General Motors. Sadly, being the only American on this list, it was produced from the year 95 till present. Being the only V8 on this list, it easily produces over 450 horsepower in naturally aspirated stock form, showing that it is true that there is no replacement for displacement. It was used in a multitude of GM products, from the Tahoe to the Corvette, the Camaro and the Cadillac CTS-V. More power is attainable by attaching a supercharger or turbocharger. One can easily get over 1000 ponies out of this block. The beautiful thing about this engine, other than the V8 rumble, is that the engine is overall considered to be very reliable and is a favorite for engine swaps. Subaru EJ25. The Subaru EJ25 has a long and storied history in daily driven average cars and motorsport. Its years of production, from 1988 to 2021, it has the longest production run on this list. It is also quite a unique engine because its 4-cylinder boxer with a unique rumbling sound in some variants is produced due to unequal header lengths. The Subaru EJ25 power unit has been the force behind many racing endeavors, powering the way to many rally championships. It was also used in many passenger cars such as the Impreza STI, the Legacy GT and the Forester XT, just to name a few. In stock form, this engine has been factory tuned up to 340 horsepower, but the engine has a lot more potential. On stock internals and a simple turbo upgrade, this engine can give you over 500 horsepower, but with a stroker kit to 2.7 liters. With a few aftermarket parts, this engine will soon be knocking on the door of 1,400 horsepower. The only downside of this engine is that it has high fuel consumption and is very prone to head gasket failure. So it's a matter of not if, but when the head gasket will fail, with the more power you squeeze out of this engine. The Toyota 2JZ. The final engine, the Toyota 2JZ, is one of the most iconic engines on this list. This 6-cylinder straight 6 was produced from the years 91 to 2000. It powered the Toyota Supra, Aristo and the Lexus 300, to mention a few. The 2JZ has a strong iron block which made 227 horsepower stock. With a turbo upgrade and a tune, it has been known to produce 700 horsepower. If one wants to go drag racing, one can turn turbo boost up to full and switch to race fuel and tires, then watch the car push out more than 1,500 horsepower for a 6-second quarter-mile time on stock internals. The engine is also well known for being reliable even after a tune. That's why it is a favorite with people who want to do engine swaps. If you like this content and would like to see more of it, please destroy the like button, subscribe to this channel, and feel free to leave a comment below of what engines you think should have been on this list. Stay tuned as we will be posting more content.